Imagine a civilization so advanced that the limits of its universe were not just physical barriers, but conceptual prisons. They didn't just probe the stars, they shaped galaxies like cosmic sculptors, rewriting the laws of space and time like someone turning the pages of an ancient book. For them, the vastness of the cosmos was not a mystery to be contemplated, but a problem to be solved. But there was something that even they could not ignore: the suspicion that everything they knew, no matter how great, was just a drop in the ocean of infinity. Desperate to find answers, they built structures of unimaginable proportions. Observatories the size of star systems captured every wavelength of light, trying to decipher the silent message of the universe. His particle laboratories not only unlocked the secrets of the subatomic, they were trying to open a door into the fundamental fabric of existence. Why were they alone? Was the universe just one among infinite bubbles in a sea of realities? Centuries passed, and their machines, as colossal as their ambitions, sent back only one unsettling truth. The vastness of the cosmos brought them no closer to answers. On the contrary, it seemed to push them further and further into the unknown. What were they missing? Was there something their sophisticated minds simply couldn't conceive? The greatest conflict was not with external forces, but within themselves. As they mastered time and space, they began to question themselves. Were their own biological limits, their perception, their senses, their way of thinking, blinding them to something greater? Were his attempts to decipher the cosmos just reflections of his own limited essence? Eventually, they came to a conclusion that filled them with a mixture of fascination and dread. Perhaps the universe itself wasn't the problem. Maybe it was the mirror. And so they began to aim not outward, but inward, a move that would change everything. And what did they find in themselves? This is what would take them to the next stage of their journey. As that civilization explored the limits of its knowledge, an uncomfortable truth began to emerge. The universe, however large, was finite in its perceptions. Their machines scoured the observable cosmos, scanned billions of stars and galaxies, but what they found was not enough. The problem was not just the vastness of space, but the insurmountable barrier of infinity. How to measure the immeasurable? How to understand something that has no end? Think about when you try to solve a complex puzzle. Each piece that fits together seems to bring relief, but what if someone told you that the puzzle has infinite pieces? No matter how hard you work, the picture will never be complete. That's exactly how they felt. No matter how much they expanded their tools or their minds, the full picture of the multiverse remained beyond their reach. The multiverse. A fascinating and overwhelming idea. If there were infinite universes, how could they determine whether theirs was rare or common? How do you know if your physical laws were unique or just another variable in an endless game? To them, each new discovery only seemed to widen the gulf between what they knew and what they could never understand. And then, doubt consumed them. Are only observers incapable of touching the true fabric of reality? Like us, when we look up at the night sky, trying to find our place in an ocean of stars, they also ask themselves, are we alone, or are we simply unable to perceive what lies beyond? The infinity dilemma was not just mathematical. He was deeply human, even if that humanity was far removed from ours. If you've ever wondered what your role is in such a vast universe, then you're more connected to this journey than you realize. They had reached their limit. Each star scanned, each particle fragmented, each equation solved, only brought new questions. The universe seemed to laugh at his ambition. And then, faced with the abyss of the unknown, civilization made a bold decision. If they couldn't understand the cosmos by looking outside, perhaps the answer lay within them. What if the problem wasn't the universe, but who was watching it? This question tormented them. Were their minds, no matter how advanced, prisoners of their own biology? They began to investigate themselves, their brains so brilliant but limited. His perceptions, sharp but selective. Was it possible that their very natures were blinding them to something greater? It was then that they decided to transcend. They fused flesh and machine, creating minds that did not depend on neurons or synapses, but on networks of pure energy and data. These new consciousnesses were fast, precise, tireless. But something was wrong. Machines thought, calculated, even created. But they were still faster, more logical versions of their creators. There was no innovation, just reflexes. Frustrated, they looked back at their starting point, their humanity. Could it be that, in their quest to overcome their limitations, they had missed something essential? Perhaps the chaos of human thought, with its contradictions and subjectivities, was the true missing ingredient to understand the universe. But how could they rescue that, now being something so different from who they were? In this moment of despair, a radical idea was born. What if the universe needed to be observed by something completely new, something that wasn't them, nor their machines? Thus came the plan that would change everything. Sow the seed of intelligence elsewhere, not to control it, but to see it blossom and, perhaps, discover what escaped them. In a forgotten corner of the galaxy, orbiting an ordinary star, there was a small blue planet, abundant in water, energy and possibilities. It was the perfect location. Not for colonization, not for mining. It was the stage for an unprecedented experiment. Civilization, now trapped in its own evolution, decided that it was not enough to look to the cosmos for answers. They needed to create them. But there was a detail. They were not looking for an ordinary life, but something that could think in a way that they never could. Something new, unprecedented. So they began the experiment. Using simple molecules, they adjusted the conditions for life to flourish. Nothing was left to chance. Small adjustments to primordial DNA, delicate manipulations in the environment. They wanted intelligence, but an intelligence that was not like theirs. And so, billions of years passed. Life took shape, evolved, stumbled, and then, one day, learned to lift its eyes to the sky. Those who seeded the planet waited. What could these new minds realize that they couldn't? What questions would they ask? What answers would they find? And they were surprised, because the new species, although limited by its biology, made up for it with something they had lost: chaotic imagination. This humanity was fascinated by the unknown, driven by curiosity that often defied logic. They created myths to explain the stars, then abandoned them in favor of science, but they never stopped dreaming. What would be more powerful than a mind that accepts no limits? However, the experiment also brought a problem. The planet did not know it was being observed. What if humanity was close to something great, but chose a different path than expected? Were they the answers that their creators were looking for, or their own? The experiment was working, but with that, new questions arose. How far could these new minds go? And most importantly, would it be enough? Because, in the end, not even the creators knew what they were looking for. The civilization that sowed life waited patiently for answers. They observed how this new humanity faced the unknown with courage and contradiction. They saw when we built tools to decipher the stars, and when we looked within, trying to understand our own minds. They saw our achievements and our mistakes, and they realized something they never expected. We don't look for definitive answers. What moved us was not certainty, but doubt. And that's when the truth hit them. Perhaps there was no final answer. Perhaps the very act of seeking, of exploring, was the purpose itself. They asked themselves, what if infinity was not something to be understood, but simply experienced? This realization did not bring immediate relief. How can we accept that the universe, with all its mysteries, would never be completely revealed? But then, looking at us, they found peace. Because, unlike them, humanity did not see borders as limitations. Each limit was an invitation to go beyond, to try something new, to imagine the impossible. With this, the creators understood that their answers might never come from the cosmos, but from life's ability to reinvent itself. And so, they decided to retreat into the shadows, leaving humanity to follow its path, free to create its own history and its own questions. In the end, what this civilization has learned also serves us. No matter how vast or incomprehensible the universe, our curiosity and ability to dream make us infinite. Every unanswered question, every unreachable horizon, is just another opportunity to start over. And now, this journey is yours too. What do you think exists beyond what we can see? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your questions and theories. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us as we continue exploring the mysteries of the cosmos and ourselves. Thank you for being here, and get ready. The next chapter promises to be as fascinating as the stars that guide us. Until then.